Hi, I'm Chantelle with 141 Design Company, and this is our live stream shop talk on Wednesday, May 8th, 2024. I've missed a couple of weeks, so this is we're getting back on schedule and getting back into it. So I don't have it scheduled. I'm just coming on live again tonight at 7 o'clock. Now, the things that we're going to be doing this evening, and as people start to join us, is I've got some things to talk about new in the shop. I've got some whips to share, some stitch along information, painting to go over, and a full finished piece I want to share with you because we're going to dig a little deeper into just what that is in tonight's shop talk. And we'll just let a few people join us. If you're here gathering and want to make a comment, just comment below and we'll say hello, but we'll do a little background a little bit and then we're going to get started. I've been away for 2 weeks now. Last week, sick, so sick. I tried, I thought, I'll just switch and do on Thursday. Thursday was still really bad. I had been gone the week before at a conference, and so I also missed that Wednesday. And I think I probably caught something, coming home. So, one of those plane bugs or something. And it knocked me out. We have had a really exciting times going on here in the shop. We're a little bit, I guess we're behind. We've had some bummers happen. So, and one of them is we don't normally like throw prayer and praise out and stuff I know that Alicia does all the time, but we do want to keep Lynn in our prayers right now. Our Lynn, who works here with us, is out right now because she has had an accident. And I know you guys are all going to cringe when you hear this because she had an accident involving her right hand and she's had to have surgery. It was a last minute thing, as totally unexpected. So we have lost Lynn. So we are down by one. Plus I was out sick. So we are scrambling, but we're doing good. We're all doing good, but just keep Lynn in your thoughts and send her some good wishes because I'm sure she's kind of bummed. It was a very sad little incident that happened, and she's had to have surgery, I guess, with some pins and things like that. So our hearts and our thoughts go out to Lynn as we miss her dearly here at 141. But thank you so much. We've got a good group joining us here. Now, something I want to say, it is 7:03. This will be posted up. So if you're watching here on the replay, welcome. We're going to do tonight's live stream a little bit different. I've got an idea for us. I've got a painting live set up on our overhead camera. So we're going to get over to that here in a minute and discuss that. But as we go throughout the evening, right now we are at 51. I have an super exciting announcement that I want to share with all of you guys. So I want to get our numbers up here in the group and in the live, especially since we're just coming back and I didn't even post that I was going to be live tonight. I'm just throwing it in here. But text your friends, tell them to come over, join us in the live, because before we sign off tonight, I've got some questions I want to pass on to you, some information I want to gather, and a brand new exciting announcement on something that is coming down the pipe really quick. And I'm really psyched about it. So like I said, text your friends, gather them over here, and we're going to get started on our live stream this evening, and we'll watch our numbers as they grow. Now, the first thing I want to share with you, before I get into my whips and some other information that I've gathered, because I did a little research for you guys too this last week, I want to show you a fully finished piece. I had stitched, let me grab the paper, and you've seen this already, the Robin's Spring Seasonal Courier from Robin Pickens, right? We shared this. I got a pile falling, just a minute. Okay, there we go. I'd shared this earlier that I had stitched this, and I had something that I had in mind to put it on, and I've got that piece finished and ready to share. So I went with this is a great basic, and I just love this board so much for the versatility that it has. This is a version of our bender board that I have finished the robin on, and I'm going to show it to you here in a different color so that you can see the top of it has a flower cut out on this one. So yes, you've guessed it. We've got the 4 Seasons pack in the tall bender display. That's what this is for. And I finished the robin using some of Robin's fabric. Let me show you this pack of Fat Quarter. It was a Fat Quarter bundle that I picked up from Fat Quarter Shop. So you can head over there to grab this. This is a collection of the thatched material is the name of it. So there's lots of different colors. I'm going to toss one pile of it over here so you can see. But there's, let me bring this in so you can see. See how it's got that really cool thatched print to it? It comes in all sorts of different colors. And I think that's very similar to, if I didn't get the same color that she used, I got one really, really close. Same color and the same fabric that Robin has used to finish hers on the cover. So I went ahead and bought that pack from Fat Quarter Shop so that I could use it to do my full finish. And that's what you see here. And then this is just some cording that's kind of a cream. Now I put this on with magnets so I could bring this in and show you the paint technique that I did, because this is what we're going to paint together here tonight. And then I'm going to get into questions and things like that as we go. Now, as you see, the top part has that cutout of the flower. So that has been cut into a button shape so that you can add it wherever you want to, up on the top. And I wanted to be able to show you, there we go, show you the, I call it like it's a dry brushing. This is my layered linen technique. We've talked about it before. We're going to talk about it again and probably many, many other times. But another thing I wanted to show you is this one is done in beiges with a dark brown at the bottom. I also had painted it in just white. Now this white is the beadboard. Well, that's the back. This is the beadboard from the DIY paint line, and getting it straight this way, you guys, it's like a challenge, like a pat in my head, rubbing my tummy. And I thought I'd show it to you if it was on a bright white, you know, what that looks like and how that pops as well. So that's why I went ahead and used a magnet for the other one. But I thought I liked the white. The white stitching didn't show up very good on the fabric that I decided to use. I just thought I'd show it to you so you could see another version. But then I went with the cream and I found that I liked that better. So let me put that aside and put this back on. Now with the magnets, like you see, there's 2 magnets on the back. There's 2 magnets on the back side of this, and that magnetizes through the wood. So that's why you're seeing it just like click into place as I put it back on the board. So while this is not something that I do intend to change out, I put it on magnets here tonight so that you could see that. Now let's head over to the other camera and discuss painting. And we're going to paint for a few minutes here together while we chat and talk. I can see your comments, so if you do have something to ask, go ahead. But I wanted to show you some different, what I want to say, like finishes, and give you some ideas for what those are. So for instance, this board, this is our everything board, and I've got it painted in 4 different ways. This one is done in just blue. So this is the Hey Sailor color from the DIY paint line. It's just painted one color, and then it is distressed. And you can see that with the chalk and clay base paint, see all the color variation that occurred? I didn't blend this. Okay, this is just me painting it on, distressing it. I got a little heavy there, but since something's going to cover it, I didn't worry about it. There's a lot of paint variegation that shows up because of the clay nature and the pigmentation of the paint. So even when you do paint something with the DIY paint in just one color and then you distress it, you're going to see color variegation similar to, variegated flosses that we use. You're going to see that in this paint collection. So this is an example of a board that's painted with just one color using the DIY chalk paint, and it is called Hey Sailor is the color. And then these have all been finished with a clear coat that I use, which is Deft, which is always the clear coat. Now, the boards that we cut, this is the back side of this one, are cut with maple green. This was one that had one of those knots in it. It was just on the back, but I just thought I'd show that for an example. But as you can see, there's a lot of grain that shows in the wood that we use because it is a maple veneer. So that's what you're seeing when you see grains, when you see marks like this. things like that. That's all the natural markings within the maple. Since it is maple, and there's not as much grain on this side, maybe the other side was even prettier, but you can just put clear coat on them like I've done here. And that's what this looks like. It makes it very rich. Or you can stain them. The stain will pop in different colors. And so because it's wood, it's going to pull and stain in a lot of different colors. This is the color Jacobean from Minwax. It's the same color that was used when we did the folk petal from the spring folk piece there. This piece, let me bring it up so you can see, has been done with a crackle finish. One of the things that I love about crackle finish, and when I do crackle finish, is I really like doing what I call tone on tone. All right, so you'll see crackle done often when someone puts a base coat down, then a crackle medium, then the paint goes over and that cracks the paint. I really like it when you're just doing it with the same color. So like white on white, it shows the texture still, but it doesn't have, it disguises it, I guess is what, it just shows it as texture in the background. So keep that in mind when you're using crackle finish, that sometimes tone on tone is a great way to go. Now this one, I actually achieved this crackle using wood glue, actually Elmer's glue, because glue is also a product that will crack. Now let me show you up here close. You can see these giant cracks? Well, giant cracks occur when you put a very heavy coat of your glue or crackle medium down, and then your paint goes on top of that and it cracks. That way you end up getting giant cracks. If you want smaller cracks, then you put a lighter coat of the crackle medium that you're using. Another thing that I'd like to point out about this, and when I do it, is a lot of times I'll leave places void of crackle. The entire board does not need to be crackle finish. So for instance, I didn't put any medium on this spot or over in here. And so you'll see that that makes the crackle go into a different areas and leaves it off in the other spots. Let me grab that stitch, even though it's not the same size of it. If you were to put a stitch on like this, then you'll see some cracking, nothing, cracking down here. It just causes, it gives you more interest. That's kind of pretty on that white. Okay, this is also beadboard, but I just thought I'd show that as an example. And I'll show that closer as well. Another example would be this. Now this is just crazy pants, but I love it so much. This has many different texturizing techniques that have been done into this one. And so as we go on in Shop Talks, this Shop Talk series, I think it would be fun to paint a different type of finish each week for the first, half hour, 20 minutes or so of our Shop Talk evenings, and then we'll move on. I just thought you might get some inspiration out of that and show different things. Now on this one, I have used probably 3 colors in this because colors will blend together. And then I texturized it quite a bit, and I will show what texturizing looks like too, and to give you an idea of what it looks like once you start breaking that up. That would be the look of if you were to put a stitch on. I'll make it the other way so you can see. I know it doesn't fit perfectly, but sometimes I think just visually it's easier to see if you have stitching put on it. So tonight we're going to look at the layered linen technique on the new 4 Seasons bender boards. And let me bring this up a little closer so you can see. Now a lot of this I did not cross hatch on this. I just went, vertically with this. And there's another peek at the flower. The flower was painted using the color Cowgirl Coral from the DIY line. But let's get into taking a look at our board and the other pieces that come with it. Now, I talked about it being 4 seasons, right? Well, let's look at those. Of course, we're going to have one with a flower. Here's some sneaks. And then, of course, the flower button comes out of that. Our winter version will have a little mitten. And you've got a mitten button. The fall version, it has a cute little leaf. Of course, you'll get the little leaf button. And then our summer version has got a nice sunshine cutout with your summery, sunshiny button. Now we're going to take a look at the spring one, because that's the one we've done first, and painting this using this technique. Our base piece to it is 2 pieces. Again, so we will glue these together. I use the Tight Bond Quick and Thick multi-surface wood glue when I put this together. I already have one put together, so we won't, but what I'll do is I will put some, on this side, and then I glue them together. And while it's setting up, I make sure I hold it nice and flush so that we achieve this perfect fit right here. I'll bring that up a little closer so you can see. This one has already been glued together and we've got a nice tight fit. To paint the base the same way I did it, I started out with the color Layered Chocolate from the DIY paint line. And what I'll do with this is I am going to paint the sides even though they are dark. I usually paint my sides first. The DIY paint is a very thick paint. Very easy to use. It can be thinned with water. And it'll create a nice watercolor effect. I'm going to kind of clean up that edge as I go. However, I am going to distress it. And distressing will help get rid of that extra little, how when you paint with things and you get some over the edge and you got a little blob and stuff like that. I try to clean them up, but a lot of times they're there. So what I do is I come back later and I just sand those down with my sanding tool. Because the chalk paint is really, really easy to distress. So we'll get those edges first. Then we'll come in here and just paint the top. If you're feeling like your paint is dragging too much, one idea is to make sure you start with a wet paintbrush. That's always helpful. I did not. But you can always come over here and dip it into, I have water here on the side. Dip your brush of the paint into some water and watch this. Look at how our open time just really increased and we're able to get that put right on. Now it's going to thin the paint some. And of course, being, conscientious of the fact that we are painting wood, we aren't adding tons and tons of paint or water to it so that we end up warping our wood. And we're also keeping our paint outside of the groove so that we have a nice fit. Sometimes I will put my pieces together first and then paint them so that I'm assured that my fit is good. Now I do see that I have a question here from Barbara. When I was painting on wood for decorating painting, we always prepared wood by sand and had to use a special sealer over the knot hole, which prevents sap from bleeding. Do you do that? I don't. I go ahead and just paint it. Now, the thing that you will find that might bleed, if you're worried about things bleeding when you're painting with white, then you might want to seal. And the thing that might bleed could be the burnt edge from the laser. That's what I see. Now this piece, let's see here. You can see I grabbed one from the back. It has not been sanded yet. We do sand these marks off for you on the majority of the things that we do. Sometimes if it's too small of a piece, we don't sand that. That'll have to be just, like you got to hand sand that one because our sanders are too big for doing that. But especially if it's brown or black or something, it's not going to bleed through. You're going to be fine. If it's white though, it might. And a good sealer product, if you want to do something with sealer, would be maybe a primer, spray paint primer would be a good thing to do, and that would help prime your edges. Now, one of the reasons why I decided to bring in the DIY paint as well is because it is a paint that has been covering the burnt edges really well, and that's one of the reasons why I pulled the trigger on that paint brand for that. Now, our blending for doing the top, I hope that answered. Thank you, Barbara, for asking. I want to blend colors when I do the top of this. You can see how on the top of ours, we've got those blended together, correct? So the colors we're going to use are going to be from the DIY paint, and it's going to be beadboard any whites are going to work with you. And then the other color I chose was Sandy Blonde. I really kind of liked that color. It also mimicked like the color I found in the linen that I used. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour some of this out right here onto my paper. This one's getting really thick. If your paint starts to get too thick, you can always add water to it as well to thin it out. Even if you have giant clumps in your paint, they can be smushed back up and reconstituted using water because it is a water-based product. Now, this is where the fun gets into play. We're going to use just a really, and this is pretty crappy. See, I take really good care of my paintbrushes. We're going to use a chip brush to create texture and to get this put on. And I'm going to go ahead and wet it just a little bit because it'll be nicer to start with a wet brush. Gonna need a paper towel here. And I'm gonna put half of the paint, the white, on half my brush and the sandy blonde on the other. I'm gonna pounce it out just a little bit, and now I'm gonna start dry brushing that right onto my piece. And as I go, I can move my my brush back and forth, and these colors are gonna start to blend together. It's a little too wet right now. The layered linen technique is very much a dry brush type of technique. So I do want my brush to be a little drier. And anywhere I want, I can keep adding white or the beige tones, right? This is just a dry brush on the top and keep going. Paint's very forgiving. We're going to fill in. The edges are going to be your most, obviously the place that you're going to give the most attention to because that's what's going to show. So if you want to practice your techniques, start in the middle because that's where your stitch is going to go. And if you really want to get a good idea for like, this is the direction I'm going, this is the direction I'm going, back and forth, creating that texture. Like I said, start in the middle or even on the back. And that'll get it going. If we don't love how this, side turned out, then practice and do the back again. But you know what? You just keep going over it until you've achieved the colors that you like and the blend that you like. More white's going to lighten it up, obviously. And then more of the sandy blonde is going to keep it more of that beige color. Let's get this filled in. We're going to sand it, so I also don't want you to worry if you're using a chip brush and chalk paint. Don't worry one iota about any type of, like the bristles coming out, because they will. I tell you, it's not the high quality brush here. Your bristles are going to come out and they'll get stuck there, but when we come back into stress, it'll pop right off. Now, if you want to also do some pouncing, you can do this as well and create texture that way. As you're going, leave that to dry just a little bit, and then we can come back and drag our brush through it again. Now, to do a cross hatch or a layered linen, because I like the linen idea of it all, as the paint starts to dry, because it dries very quickly, we're going to drag our brush through it, this, like horizontally across the other way. Need some of this, some of this. And thicken up our layers so that we can keep making that texture. Don't panic. We're going to come back through again. And then this direction. And what it's doing is it's creating texturization as the brush drags through the paint, because the paint is also drying at the same time. If you have too much, you can pop a heater onto it Get a little skin over the paint. Then drag your brush back through. Look at that. Okay. I left it kind of very contrasty so that you could hope to see how that brush then, see how it's making that texture, and we're giving it that, yes, Sharon, it reminds you of fabric and the distressed look. That's exactly what we're doing. So it's very mimics the fabrics that we're stitching on, right? See where I'm going with that? That's exactly it. Okay, now we've got it kind of splotchy, so let's start blending it and getting it blended right through. See where we're at. Okay, we've got 112 in here watching. Again, text your friends, tell them to join us. Say, come on over. We're having a paint party over here on Chantelle's 141. And she's teasing us and telling us that there's an announcement by the end of the evening. Before we head over to Nicole's for, I think there's 2 more episodes of her stitch along going on. The colors that I'm using, thanks Jessica, are beadboard and sandy blonde. And layered chocolate is what the base is going to be. Yeah, it does extend. I see that, Sharon. It does extend the look of the fabric out onto the board. Now, I also go ahead and paint the edges of the board. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I am going to just sand it again over there. And I'm probably going to leave out painting the inside of the flower. Coming back through. Okay, this is looking pretty cool. I'm going to fill in some of these holes here with some white, because you can kind of come now and pay attention and focus on the edge, since you know that's what's going to be showing. Sanding it is going to also make our colors pop and blend them even more. I know it's kind of hard to see. If you can't, quite make it out, but I will keep doing this. We'll keep repeating this. I see Steph says she got sucked into the impromptu Sal. Oh my gosh, yeah, we're going to talk about that too. Okay, this is coming along. We're going to need a little more paint. So far, we've used 2 whole, like, little dollops. So you can see how far this paint's going to go for you. Your paintbrush starts to get a little too loaded up. Grab another one, have another one on hand so you can do multiple brushes if you need to, or, dry it, because like I said, we don't want lots of paint on our brushes. We're keeping those very, very light so that we don't have, because we just want to dust our pieces. We're building layers. And blending the colors. And creating texture. Okay, that's starting to look pretty cool up there. That needs to get dried a little bit because it's pretty heavy paint up there. So if I need to drag my brush through it to create a texture, I want to put a skin on it and then or even just this little pouncing. Come back. Okay, let's wrap it up. This is a really good color, you guys. Okay, the sandy blonde is very, very linen-y look. It goes really well. The linen that I stitched that on was from Cedar River. We've done this. We've talked about this before, and why I can't remember it is beyond me. If you guys remember the name of the linen I used, let me know. Cedar River, new color. Kind of mimics this color, sandy blonde, in the paint. It's like, I remember paint colors, but I can't remember linen colors. Isn't that crazy? It's not my thing. Not my jam, I guess. Okay. It's a little shiny there. We're going to go with this for one side. Let's get this dry. I'll turn this down. Go ahead if you have questions. I can see your questions right now while I dry this. This is not completely finished. I would probably fuss around with it a little bit more, but I want to get it dried and do a little distressing. Maple bar. I am using maple bar, but it's not maple bar. It's like sand or something. Is it Spindrift? That's it. There you go, Cheryl. Thank you. We got it at the same time. Spindrift. I'm using maple bar to stitch a red sampler on. I do remember that. This is Spindrift is the color that... Okay, paint. I'm reordering paint, so it will be back in stock soon. Let me double check with this with DIY first, because I don't want to put it in there and then have it be like they can't get it to me right away, and not be able to get it to you. It's having to hang on to the orders while I'm waiting for product to come in has never been a goal of mine. Okay, we're gonna put these in the water. That's still a little wet, but I'm going to show you distressing on the base because that one's dry. So we've got our base. We do need to paint the bottom, but we're going to distress the top. Distressing is something that I do using just a sanding tool. This is a little jobby-do I get. It's in my Amazon shop, and along with the glue and the finish that I use is also in my Amazon shop. I'm going to put all of these links in the description once our video is finished, so we've got those going. But this is 120 is the grit that I'm using here on this sandpaper. 80 is, the smaller the number, the coarser the grit. So 80 is going to be way too gritty. You know, it's going to really show a lot of marks. 120 is borderline. I like to use even finer grit if you can, so a higher number. But basically, I don't have very many coats of on this one. We just have that one. So this is just going to take a really light, look at how fast, a really light touch to distress this. And I'll usually go all in one direction. Grab my edges. It's going to reveal the wood. Now, see what I told you about how easy this is to distress? Check that out. So if I had paint that came over the edge, this cleans it up like in a blink with very little effort. Latex is going to ball up on you. Acrylics, you can get them to distress. They don't distress as well. Chalk spray paints, they'll distress for you. They're pretty good. And these are nice. These are nice pieces to use with chalk spray paint too. So, okay, now watch. I'll show you how easy, because now we've got the base. I will paint this, but just to show you how easy it is to distress this. Look at how I can even get that like completely, that stuff that got over on the edge. Just kind of sand it off almost. So, super forgiving and incredibly messy. But then once we have it all distressed, and I can even try a little bit on this, it's a little wet still. You can tell when your paint is dry from the touch. I can feel that it's tacky right now, but it's also cool. So if your paint is cool to the touch, it's still wet. Even though I'm touching it, I can still tell it's wet. I'm not going to worry too much about it though, because it's a pretty texturized look. So we're going to come over and try give it, and see, I will sand over the whole thing, because sanding is also going to, you can even come in here and get that groove. The groove is decorative, and I went ahead and cut it all the way through to keep it that way so that you could distress and sand. But look how easy. Look at the, like, again, it's a mess, you guys. You're going to want to do this in a nice spot. Anyway, so that's the basics of distressing. You want to get that clear of any dust, and then your glue is going to go in the slot, and your piece is going to fit right in. If you have too much paint, it might have a hard fit, then you can just sand the bottom off a little bit better. But I'm also going to paint the back side and finish this up at a later date. Okay, the smaller 2 denim bags, I just got this from Kathy. Denim bags actually just arrived today. So the folks that had them on order, and with the large bags, I boxed them up and shipped them out, with the exception of one, because I got to get a hold of you. And we were talking about embroidery to get your name put out. But I do have some denim. The small ones came in with it, and I've got more on order as well. So I'm going to put those in the shop soon. And then will you be selling the feet separately for the risers? The larger feet that we have, I do have those, and I could sell those separately. The little tiny ones, though, I have not ordered those. Let me try to find them on an account. They're just from Amazon right now. So it's like, just grab a whole big bag from Amazon and keep them in stock. And then you can put them on anything you want. So that's kind of what I was thinking for that. But let me put this away. So what do you think? Do you have any questions on painting at the moment? But we just did the technique that I used for painting this particular board. And like I said, I think it's kind of fun. Maybe if we spend the first 15, 20 minutes or so, and I just show you paint techniques, even if sometimes it's the same, we'll just keep going over and just kind of just bring it in, because obviously practice is what helps create that look and give you more time with it. So thanks for indulging me on that. Let me know if it's something you want me to continue with. I just thought I'd give it a try for this evening. Let me get things straightened up and cleaned up, and if you have some questions and want to throw those in, go right ahead. I'll get this out of the way. Actually, I'm probably just going to leave it, and then I'll just hold things up for you. Well, no, let's get it out of here. Then I can come over here and do the... So how was your week, everybody? We've been doing good here. Like I said, if you're joining us late, we're down one man. Lynn has had a little bit of an accident and she ended up having some surgery done. You do like the demos and want to keep going that? We need a small denim bag into the mix ASAP, I see. So we'll get that going. Let me get rid of some stuff on our table. My one-man show, guys. And show you some more fun things. I'm glad that works for you guys. If it works, we'll keep doing it. Okay. Bring you back over here. Get our camera straightened out a little bit better. There we go. Okay, good. Cindy is saying that she is very visual and she likes the tutorials. Fantastic. Well, we'll keep going with those. Let me show you one more thing here. All right. I'll bring this in because one other item, back to this guy, that I thought I'd share with you as well are some measurements. All right. This is something that you might want to take a screen grab of if you want to do it exactly this size. Now, this is stitched 28 count fabric is what I stitched it on. So the measurement of the press-on board that I used for the robin stitch is 6.5 by 4 3/4. And then to give us a 1/2 inch relief there, the base board is cut to 5 3/4 by 7.5. So there's our measurements, if that helps as well. Now, some stitching that I've been working on. I have been plugging away at Elizabeth Hull 1863, the Waist Knot Want Knot. This is that piece that I was doing on the maple bar. I've got it right here. Now I'm just putting in a thread at a time, and this was the piece that I was trying out the bar thing. I like it okay. I don't necessarily need it, but it is kind of nice to have it always kind of set up. I think the last time we talked, I was probably just had this first row, maybe a little bit in there. So I've gotten another row of letters and then working on this piece right here. This is something that I'm going to create one of those heritage walls, you know, very much after the inspired from Lori Holt, obviously, and maybe plug my mother's name in on this one. This chart is from Hands Across the Sea, and it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, I had that maple bar, but that's the color. Isn't that good? That color's good. That maple bar, really, really nice. Love it. The other pieces that I have been working on, and this is what we'll head over to take a look at after we're done here with our live, are the hands-on design pieces. The summer basket. I stitched these on driftwood, 16 count driftwood from Fabrics by Stephanie. And I just went ahead and stitched all 3 of them so that I'm ready to now create a biscornu. Now what I'm going to be doing is 2 of them are going to be made into one biscornu, and 1 of them is going to be on a flat finish. I have not decided. Maybe these will be my biscornu and this will be the flat finish. That's kind of cool. Not sure what I'm putting together, but Nicole's going to continue to share with us, and she's got a tutorial coming up in a couple of weeks on how to stitch it together. I do know I need my back stitching on, so I'm going to refer to her instructions for that, get my back stitching on the 2 that I decide are going to be my biscornu finish, and we'll keep moving right along on that. But that has been just a fabulous stitch along that Nicole organized, and her live stream will be this evening on her channel at 8 o'clock Eastern, so you can head over there and check that out next. Now, the other thing in the spirit of stitch along, oh, look at this. I went ahead and grabbed a folder that I have. Now, this is something that I purchased from Punky Pearls. So I'm keeping my stitch along pieces inside this bag. It is so cool. Punky Pearls is who makes this. And inside, it has multiple like little pockets. So what I thought, this is super fun. I went and got the pieces that I'm doing for my stitch alongs and put them inside this, so they're all in one bag. I love it. It's easy for me to take back and forth from here to home, and I put my charts over here. So let's take a look at each one of the ones that I'm working on. The first one, this is not a stitch along, but it was something that I've had hanging out and I wanted to get it done. So, and while I was not feeling really great, it was really easy and fun to do. So I grabbed Stitch Some Happy from Hands on Design, and I stitched this on 14 count Fog from Picture This Plus. I am missing the little X's that are down here still. I'm wondering if I'm looking at this and I'm seeing like a rectangular finish. So I'm kind of thinking maybe I won't put it on there. Now, something else I want to show you guys. When I stopped in here, again, this is back when I was sick, right? Like last week. And I had these threads all kitted up and ready to go with this little tag that said Stitch and Happy. So I was assuming that this floss set, which I do have on the Annie's Keepers, using the the Classic Colorworks, because this is all Classic Colorworks, the Classic Colorworks stickers. I thought this was the Stitch Some Happy stuff. And what it turned out to be is it's actually Polar Plunge's colors. And so, well, I've got them ready to go. But when I got home, I went, oh, whatever, I'm just going to use them. And it worked out fine. So I stitched my Stitch Some Happy using the Polar Plunge colors. I did my highlight here in the blue color, and I do love it. I can see myself stitching this again because I think I want to stitch it on a smaller count since this is 14 so that I can put it like this way in the round. I'd like to try her stitch there. So that was just a little fun ditty that I popped into and did. And then, of course, Shari Moss over on her channel has a botanical bee stitch along that just started in May. I did kit this up with the right colors, but I'm using the DMC colors, and I have them on the keepers with the DMC stickers to them. And I jumped ahead. This week we're working on, she's got it all plotted out on her. I link Shari's page below so that you can head over and see her schedule. But I know that her schedule is the first week, which started in May, was to do the body of the bee. And then the second week was to come over here and do this portion. And the third week was to do this portion. And then the fourth, you came up and you did the flowers. And I am telling you what, this was such a riot and so much fun to stitch. Let me zoom in here. Oh my gosh, you guys. I loved this so much. Now what's missing is the back stitching. Let me show you. You can see there's a lot of back stitching that really makes it. Actually, I shouldn't even call it back stitching. They're specialty stitches that make this piece come alive, is the way this back stitches. And I still have to do that. So that's what's missing on this still. Like I said, I did use all the called for DMC colors. And this is stitched on 32 count juniper from Fabrics by Stephanie. That is something you can get right over on her website. And then this chart, I think I have a couple of them in my shop. I do have some hands-on design charts in our shop, and you can grab those. But I also know that I saw that Fat Quarter Shop has a sale going on all of the hands-on design charts this month. So you might pick some up from Fat Quarter Shop, or even head over to Hands-on Design and grab those. Now, when I go ahead and finish that, I'm thinking about using the perpetual paddle because this bee will fit on here. These rounds do. And I did get the pre-cut circles from Hands-on Design. These are 4 3/8. They are laser cut mat board circles. So I've got the perfect scale, and it will also fit on the paddle. That's a right there. I'm not 100% sure yet though, but that's an idea. But again, these are over at Kathy's. You probably want to go over to her spot and pick them up to have them for your stash because they're fitting on a lot of different things. So that is another stitch along that is going on right now, and I jumped in on. Another one that is coming up. Okay, it isn't started yet, but it's coming up with Snug Harbor and someone else that I'm forgetting right now. But anyway, I heard Deb talk about it on her channel on Snug Harbor. And I've had this kitted up. I purchased it from Michelle Farm Girl Dry Goods last year, I believe. And I had purchased the entire kit. So I got the chart, but the chart is available now. We do have this, I believe, in our shop too. And I purchased it with all of the DMC and Color and Cotton floss. I don't have drops specifically for Color and Cotton, so I just left them on the cards, but I pulled the DMC that I already had on my Annie's Keepers, and I got to start on that because I know this is going to take me probably all summer, you guys. So I wanted to just get a start on it and get going, and this is my start. Now, the fabric that I'm using for this one was the fabric that Michelle dyed for it. So it is the called for fabric. On the back, you would probably get that from Michelle Farm Girl Dry Goods. It's Old Amana, but I do know it's got a little bit of a green tint to it. But remember that maple bar? Look at, well, it's a little yellow, but maple bar is pretty close. There's a little more green tint to this one, but I think maple bar would work as well if you're looking to get started with finding places to put stuff. Get started with American Welcome. Now, I started up here, came down, got excited, got a house done. Then I started going across with the grass and got tired of green. So I'm like, I'm going to do a little bit of that house. So I went and I'm just jumping all over the place. But this is my start for American Welcome. And I thought I'd share that with you this evening. So those are some stitch alongs that are currently going on. And then the other thing that I have to share with you is I started what they were talking about before. I started like a little impromptu, crazy, fun stitch. Now head over to, this is my own little madness. So join me over in my Facebook group. It's Chantelle's 141. It's a Facebook group. That's where we're doing this little impromptu stitch and create along. Now, what happened was I got kind of inspired because last year I put together this bowl using summer memories from Susan Aki. And I had such a good time with this. This is like a little one I did. And then there's a variety of different things. Some are Susan Aki's. This is from Emily Call. Then we've got some Primrose Cottage. This is a freebie. This came out of the Summer Memories book, and that's from Lori Holt. But I used all the same colors, so it kind of all went really well together to put them all inside a bowl. So this year, for a little patriotic fun, I decided I wanted to build a tier tray. You can see I've got a couple of them over there. So what we're doing is our creative impromptu stitch along is to build a tier tray together, and we're going to be using the Sassy Stripper charts that are coming out on Fridays from Priscilla and Chelsea of Stitching with the Housewives. Now, I downloaded this last Friday. I had it stitched within 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I'm stitching it on 14 count black Aida. So it's a really easy, fun stitch. I kitted up all of the Aidas in the front of my bin too, and the flosses. I'm guessing they're probably going to be very much the same. And then we're mounting them on some new little pieces that are in our shop called the Skinny Mini. Now, the Skinny Mini does not come with the feet, okay? The Skinny Mini comes just like our other, it's a new piece to our basics collections. So it's very much like our other basic pieces, which are the horizontal, the square, the round, the circle, and the vertical. And now this is the Skinny Mini. It's put together exactly the same way in the same vibe. So very clean, classic look. If you get excited and want to add little feet to it, the feet are in my Amazon shop, so you can grab those because those can go on anything you want. And that's going to be how I fully finish each one of them. Now, I put in a poll about whether it should be on, if I can do this backwards, on the white one or on the black one and white one. So I think I'll do them all on white. I'm probably going to lower it. I haven't tiered it yet. Lower it and maybe put a little bow, a tiny little star perhaps. I don't know. We'll see how that turns out. But those are going to be what we do. And I'm going to do another one on this Friday. We'll do it the same. And then I'll jump in the room Saturday morning and we'll talk some more about other things that can go on the tray. And maybe we'll go over to Hobby Lobby and we'll look for some other pieces. And I'll show you some plants that I love. And we got to put a lot of stuff on the tray. We got a lot of real estate on those trays. So we're going to need to fill them out. But I think this is going to be a fun way to do it. This is the same, that's not even standard on that side, but that's that same idea in there. So if you want to join along, that's just a little quick impromptu dealy bopper, right? Now, to sum this up, because then we got to go over to Nicole. Oh, wait, I'm going to have to show you some more things. So, but you're going to, let me tell you now, though, because we got like almost 150 people in here. So I want to give you this sneak peek and then head over to Nicole for her thing. It's not a sneak peek. It's a sneak announcement. Next month, this is a shocker, guys. I've got an exclusive coming. All right. And next month is my birthday. So it is a birthday party that we're going to be throwing with an exclusive design, an exclusive box that's coming out. My question to you is, and throw it in the chat rapidly as we get going here, would you prefer that the piece, it's the whole kit and caboodle is going to be in this, right? You get the piece that you finish it on, you get the chart, you get the floss, you get the fabric, you get batting, you get everything it is to create this. And then we're going to have a big birthday party in June. My birthday is a month from tomorrow. And we're going to have a big birthday party in June and finish it all and stitch it all and do it all together for fun. Would you prefer that I put this box in my shop now as a pre-order? Because the box will have a birthday present in there from me too, from me to you. But it's also something that we'll continue to have. Or would you like me to wait until I have all the boxes put together, then put it in the shop, and then you buy them and they go out the door? Tell me, do you want it? Pre-order is going to just, you'll sign up now. It secures your box for sure, right? And then when we start shipping it out, all the pre-orders will ship first. You just throw it in there. Tell me what you think. Now, let me tell you, I'll give you an idea of what the stitch is, because it won't be a big secret soon. We'll keep sharing sneak peeks and fun things. My exclusive stitch is something that is a universal message, and the theme of this message comes from Kathy Haberman of Hands On Design. So the theme is Hands On Design, and the message is universal. Y'all are going to love it. I guarantee it. So just I see pre-order. Oh, hi, Holly's got a birthday too. Pre-order. We can do that. We can get the pre-orders going, because then it does help me a little bit, to be honest with you, to know for sure that I keep building and keep ordering and make sure I have all the things. But I also, if you guys want to know that it's shipping out tomorrow as soon as you order it, I get that too. I go back and forth with this, right? So we got a lot of pre-ordering going on. So I can put things together and get that in the shop for us by next week, so that people can start securing their box, because we're going to be talking about it and sharing about it and getting ready for it. But it will not ship until June, because it's still in some of its final stages. And I am waiting on product to come in to start putting those together. But pre-ordering definitely does give me a heads up to how big the party's going to be, right? I think it's going to be a pretty good party. So thanks for joining me here this evening. And I'm going to keep rambling, but if you need to jump over to Nicole, I totally understand, because she's going to be starting her live soon. But I do have some other things I want to wrap up this evening with. A new product that came into the shop this last week. I'm sure you've seen them. They are the bunnies. Okay? These are unfinished bunnies. Let me hold them up for you. And these are very much like the Santas. I'm going to get stitching on these pretty quick here. And there's this one's Papa Bunny. There's Baby Bunny. And this one's the Mama. Okay? The way the bunnies are constructed, complete directions do come with your bunnies when you get them, right? But you can see they have a really cool little like U-shaped like pocket that you build. And there's a slot in the bunny for to be able to put that into, so you know exactly where it's going to go. Your dowel goes in here, and then your dowels go onto your base, and that builds your bunny display. These have been cut perfect to match the Bunny Thieves chart from Teresa Koget. I'm sure you maybe already seen them over. Go check out Teresa's floss tube. They're on there as well. These are Teresa's finishes. And we just got the charts in, so now I can get over and get my DMC colors all kitted up onto my Annie's Keepers and get mine stitched, because these get stitched on perforated paper. I don't have perforated paper in my shop. I'm just showing it to you guys. Perforated paper, I picked it up. I got it at a stitching shop in Denver when I was out there. I picked up some, but it's 14 count perforated paper from Mill Hill. This might even be on something on Amazon. You can go. And my bunny chart, I just got the bunny charts in. So I'm adding the bunny charts to the shop. If you need bunny charts as well, I can get those out the door. But then, yeah, I just got them in. I was out of town when they came out, and I didn't have my laptop with me. My husband went out of town at the same time, and he took it. And it was like, doggone it. It was very crap my style, I'll tell you what. So I just got them in. I was a little late on that one. All right. And then one more thing that I wanted to share with you guys, because the Annie's Keepers, they came in, they flew out, well, gone, boom. Well, an entire pallet of those things came and they went that fast. More are coming, and those will probably even sell out. So I'm ordering more again tomorrow. Annie's Keepers we're all about it, right? And you've seen them. You saw me with kitting them here this evening. Now, I got some questions about where do you put these things and how do you hang them? So what I did was I ordered in from Amazon so I could do a review. I'm going to do a quick one here, but I'm going to keep talking about it later, and I'll share it again next week too. I ordered in some of these boxes that are file boxes off of Amazon. I ordered some big ones. They come in a variety of colors and designs. And I'm going to tell you what I landed on. I'm going to show you another one. Look at this green, you guys. Now, I'm not going to use all of them because some of them didn't make the cut. And then I also ordered some smaller versions because I thought this was kind of cool. This fits better on my shelf, and I didn't need such a gigantic thing because I'm not going to put, I want to put them individually. So I've got one more. So I did some legwork first so that I could do a review for you, and then I'm going to link the one that was my favorite, which is, I'm going to just show it to you now. This one is my favorite. I'm going to tell you why. All right, this one came in a variety of colors. It is off of Amazon. It's not in my shop yet. I will put it in my Amazon shop so you can go find it. It will be there for sure by tomorrow. The reason why this one turned out to be my favorite, they do come flat, and this one has this lid that lifts off. Inside, I searched specifically for this because inside the top is this mesh pocket that I could keep my extras from my Pip and Chip labels. Pip and Chip is where the labels came from. The way the rods hung on this one is the clips hung over the front, and so your storage slots hung right on there. And you can see this is 20. This is the 300 pack. In the bottom, I have the extra drops. They're just down here hanging out on a ring. And then inside, I have the start of my collection hanging on those rods. I just put them in number order in the way they go, you know, like on the thing. Now, what's easy about this is you don't have to slide them all off. If I need to put one in or move things around, I can just take one off and it will snap in, hard to do this backwards, in the middle if I need to, for rearranging numbers. Where does this go again? Oh, and down here at the end. You could slide them in on the end too, but I kind of like just pushing them on onto the rack. And you heard that click? There's a little ridge on there that clicks and they hang. So this one was the winner. And the reason why, let me show you the other ones that I got. I didn't like them. So if you're looking, you know, look for things like that. This one, very close to it, and I really liked this one because I liked the way this did around here. But look at what happened, you guys. Very similar concept with adding the things on, but the corners for putting the rails went over the edge on this, and then the minute I put this top on and pulled the top back off, it pulled those things off, like it fit too tight. So it didn't really fit very well on the top. And each time I took it off, it pulled my corners up. So this one was a fail. I'll use it for something else. Now, I thought bigger ones might be nice in case you want to put all of them in. So this one is larger. They would go this way. And I grabbed one that flipped so that there wasn't something that went over it at all. I like this one because there's lots of different colors. But the thing is a little too wide. Look, they don't fall on there. So I'm going to say avoid these larger ones for that, if you were looking. And if you like them, though, for other things, they are kind of cool. And they had lots of different colors. This one was a little bit better because it had the lid, but still the edges, the hanging stuff was on the edges. So you do want to get the ones that have the hanging thing on the inside. I hope that helps. I don't know. People had given me questions about that, so I thought I'd throw that in there. And then this one was just a stacker box that is clear so you could see through. This one works great. This is at Office Max. Okay, but I'm going to show Super Stacker is the brand. This one works fantastic as well. So if you're looking for just a really nice basic hard knot, you know, not a file or fabric one. This one has the sides are right here, and these storage bars, they fit perfectly on it. So this is a fantastic one as well, and that was at Office Max. But I think my favorite, they're about the same price, was I don't know why. I liked that I could put that little thing in here. So what these are is the Annie Keepers labels from DMC. And as I go and collect them, I put the sticker on mine and then put it in there. And then I can keep my extras inside the little pocket. And I know where it is because Sometimes knowing where things are is challenging for me. But let me let you guys run so we can get over and watch Nicole. I don't want to miss out on hers as well. And I just want to thank you for joining me. Join me next week again. As long as everything is good, I'm here. Okay, so Wednesday nights, Shop Talk, 7 o'clock, usually 7 to 8 Eastern. And we're going to start out with a little painting fun. Then we'll get into the rest of what I've done that week and more news of what's happening here in the shop. Thanks for joining me. And I see we have lots of good input for pre-ordering and getting the party started now. And we'll give you some sneak peeks as to what's coming from Hands-On Design Inside the Box. Bye, guys.